that is usually due to a certain event or at a certain moment. So you're sad, you feel like everything is coming down, crashing down, everything. You feel like, okay, everything is gone. See, and the difference with yoga and physiotherapy is that, for example, you come with IBS. Be curious and try to understand that there is no black or white.
Welcome to the Life Crits conversation. Like this is a free flow conversation. Of course, we do know what we're going to talk, but then we allow it to flow very casually, freely, so that the real intent of the conversation is to bring value on this topic. And today, we have Dr. Anupa. He's by education and by practice, he's doctor in Ayurveda, Vaidya, but then he's also a yoga therapist. The general understanding is whenever we speak about Ayurveda, yoga comes on its own. It's both are very intertwined, very interlinked. From Jalneti to a yoga posture, somewhere everything is connected. And that is exactly what we are going to discuss, how these both are linked and how we need to see this as our both eyes. And Dr. Anupa is a fantastic, multi-talented person here, a filmmaker and a photographer, and he shoots documentaries. Very interesting person, a very young doctor, and we are so glad to have you, Dr. Anupa.
Thank you for having me here.
Let's have a blast.
100%.
So, can we have a little, before we dive in deep on the topic that we are supposed to, about your education, about your background, and
Yeah, so talking about education, basically I'm academically an Ayurveda doctor. I've done my BAMS in Government Ayurveda College, Mysore.
Okay.
So apart from that, even though not academically, graduated or anything, I've been practicing yoga from the age of 8.
Okay.
And eventually I started teaching anatomy to yoga students, so yoga teachers basically.
Okay.
Because I had the background of medicine and Ayurveda, so the basic anatomy and physiology is still the same, be it BAMS or MBBS. So that is where I started out. And later on, I also, because from my personal experience, I also knew that yoga is not just physical activity, right? So it had the ability to heal. So that is when I started I basically stepped into the whole the
world of Ayurveda and yoga.
World of Ayurveda and also the world of therapy in yoga. Yoga as a therapy or a tool for healing from different health issues. So that is where I got really interested into, and for the last 3 years I've been helping people out. I wouldn't really call teaching, because I'm really helping people in order to heal from their issues, from their chronic lifestyle and health issues.
You were also saying that mouth breathing itself is not right, and that is what causes. Can you explain a little about that?
Sure. See, normally what happens is, typically if we look at from an evolutionary biology perspective, right, so the nasal cavity, right, so does 2 important functions, right? So one is, it obviously, apart from sense of smell, apart from that, it basically cleanses or purifies air. Right, so it has, like, apart from the hair that is on the outside, right, so we also have like tiny hair-like structures on the inside. On top of it, we have a mucous membrane. So the dust and the pollen, the microorganisms, all of these things are basically trapped inside the nasal cavity. And this is not just only the nasal cavity, but it's there until it reaches the lungs or the alveoli.
Okay.
So what happens is the protection, or I would say the line of, it is more like a first line of defense, the nasal cavity. And apart from that, it is also important for, temperature regulation, moisture regulation of the air and all these things. But that is what we thought, or that is what we knew initially.
Okay.
But later on, then people also asking, why is it I can actually breathe more through my mouth? Why is it that I should only breathe through my nose? So this was actually something that was not known, or maybe known, but with only a very small scientific community or so, but not known to the general population. But what actually happens is through mouth breathing, first and foremost thing that you can see visually is that your facial shape changes
Through mouth breathing.
through mouth breathing.
Oh.
Because if you see, right, so normally, right, so people have the nose, right, so and just below it, right, so or in the same lines we have the mouth and the jaw. In mouth breathers, right, so what happens is the jaw goes down and also slightly back, right, so because they are breathing through the mouth constantly, there is actually a structural difference that happens, and this too is more significant in kids.
Okay.
Because again, the body is now still molding. It can take any form. So the facial shape and structure itself can change. That is the first and foremost thing.
Okay.
And the next thing is, there is a lot of evidence right now that shows that mouth breathing actually hampers your cognitive abilities.
That's what I'm interested in.
So, well, that's one another thing, right? So and especially if it happens in kids, there is a lot of repercussions for that, right? So because one, that is the time wherein the development is at its peak. It should happen optimally, but that doesn't happen.
But tell me one thing. You had a problem, and hence you ended up doing mouth breathing because it was an inflammation and
True.
But in a normal kid, they need not do mouth breathing, right? By default, they would be doing breathing through their nose.
Yes.
But why are the kids forced to do the mouth breathing, or why are they tending towards mouth breathing?
See, usually what happens here is that any kid for that matter, right? So it's basically nasal breathing itself. But it's just that at certain times, like for example, the nose is blocked. It's not like they have a runny nose or they're sick or something, but it's just that there is inflammation, right? So as a result, they want to breathe. They immediately start breathing through their mouth, and it's more easier, right? So it's easier to breathe through the mouth rather than breathing through the nose.
Okay.
So for example, right, so right now, there is a snake that comes here, right? So you start screaming, you start running, right? Just pause for a second. After this, let's assume that, okay, it was a fake snake someone threw. Okay. After a moment, you just see that your breathing becomes heavier.
Right?
So it is because your sympathetic nervous system is activated, because your body is trying to push you away from that, whatever that is, basically the harm. At this time, your body wants more oxygen. It wants more air. Your breathing becomes heavier. Your breathing becomes faster. But if there is, let's say, a blocked nose, automatically, you don't have to think of it voluntarily. Automatically, you start breathing through the mouth.
Right.
And in kids, what happens is that it's not about fear. In kids, they are running around, right? So, and if you want to run around, obviously you need to breathe properly. But if you can't breathe, okay, you'll obviously breathe through the mouth. And what happens is, in most kids, this mouth breathing happens occasionally.
Okay.
But especially for those who have problems with their upper respiratory tract, right? So they have problems like running nose, or they have sinusitis, things like these. They have a blocked nose. In these kids, mouth breathing is very common.
Okay.
It's not generally that people breathe through mouth.
Okay.
Right? So, but mostly that when they have a problem, mouth breathing becomes the go-to mechanism for the body.
Automatically it chooses the mouth.
Exactly.
Because usually when it comes to Ayurveda, yoga and meditation comes together with it. Why is it? Is it like by default, all these three are connected together? Why is it that once you go to a yoga, Ayurveda becomes your medical system, and then meditation, part of it? You start your yoga classes with meditation. Can you explain on this?
So, well, if you ask me, if I have to answer, okay, is that how it is? And so, is that how things are going right now? How though?
Okay.
But if you ask me, are yoga and Ayurveda more like sister sciences? ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Okay.
Yoga and Ayurveda are not related.
That's interesting. Okay.
Simple. Like, because ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ because I also teach ಇದೆಲ್ಲರೂ like, okay, yoga, Ayurveda, okay, it's all connected, ಎರಡೂ ಅನ್ನೋದಲ್ಲ. But it is connected.
Okay.
ಆದರೆ both are completely different.
Okay.
So to give you some background, first when we talk about any of these, like for example, yoga or Ayurveda, in yoga, the understanding of human body is done by the concept of panchakoshas.
Okay.
Panchakosha, chakras and nadis. So panchakosha is basically kosha antandre onthara layer tara. Pancha is 5.
5.
So 5 koshas or 5 layers of the body. Rather than saying it as layer, I would say 5 states of experiences. So first one is Annamaya kosha, which is the kosha which is made out of anna. Anna is food,
Okay.
which is the gross physical body. Then comes the Pranamaya kosha. Prana is life energy, life force. So the second state or the second layer is the life energy, which is completely all to do with life energies. Then comes Manomaya kosha, manas, mind. These are the 3 things that we commonly talk about.
Yes.
But then we have Vijnanamaya kosha and then Anandamaya kosha. This is where certain spiritual aspects come in, like Ahankara and Chitta, all these different things come. And finally, Anandamaya kosha is like the state of bliss.
Okay.
And so that is when like you would, when you would get into Samadhi, right? So that is where you would attain that, or you would reach that Anandamaya kosha.
Touching your own source.
Exactly. But out of all this, if we talk about the very first one, Annamaya kosha, it is the gross physical body. And this Annamaya kosha is made out of 5 elements.
Okay.
And so this whole thing, again, yoga, Ayurveda, all of it goes back to the concept or to the times of Vedas, Upanishads and everything, wherein that is where the root is. The concepts are very similar.
Okay.
So right from the Upanishads, the Vedas, right? So we have the concept of Pancha Mahabhuta, which is the 5 element here. So yoga as well believes in the same, right? So yoga understands the same, and it says that, okay, the Annamaya kosha, the gross physical body, is made out of these 5 elements.
5 elements. Okay.
And the next, Manomaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, all these things are different, obviously. And when it comes to Ayurveda, Ayurveda too understands and acknowledges that, okay, these are the 5 basic elements. But the whole intent of Ayurveda was slightly different.
Okay.
When we talk about yoga, there are quite a few definitions of yoga. One is yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, right? So which is to basically control or to stop the wavering mind, right? So chitta, right? So chitta vritti is basically to get in control of everything.
Okay.
That is the whole point of yoga. But when it comes to Ayurveda, Ayurveda is not about controlling your mind, and it is not something to do with the spiritual aspect. But it is mostly to do with the physical body.
The matter.
The matter. But it doesn't, say that, okay, there is nothing beyond physical. It definitely is.
Acknowledges.
But it is not in the scope of Ayurveda to deal with it.
Okay.
And if you also look at how things, came by, yoga is mostly for, someone who is a seeker.
Okay.
Right? So you're not seeking, money or material well-being or just simple physical health. You're seeking truth. Yeah. So you're trying to seek, okay, what is this whole word?
Who am I question?
Who am I? Exactly. Things like that. So yoga is more of an answer to that.
See, today yoga has opted for weight loss. That's a first trigger. It's not usually, yoga is not considered for spirituality and touching your core. If you're doing, it's an option. Do you want a gym, or do you want to do yoga for weight loss, or to strength and training? Yeah, flexibility yoga, strength and training gym. That is how it's spoken about. Nobody talks yoga and being still, at least in the normal pace, not at a evolved set of people, but that is an entry point. But I feel it's still okay. Somewhere they are getting connected to sitting still and thing. But then you are taking it one more level, saying like yoga therapy. That's where it becomes interesting. You are taking yoga as a therapy to treat people who are struggling mental health or physical health, right? Where did you find these niche of converting this yoga, this beautiful yoga concept into a therapy?
Well, as I was discussing, so yoga, as I told you, yes, it is more towards spirituality and
Right.
true. But eventually, people started understanding that physical activity, right? So, or it can be postures, it can be movement, can it's in itself also be, somewhere linked or be a different way of, getting into that practice of actual yoga. That is when movement-based practices, that is when a lot of different asanas came in and a lot of different things came up. So the yoga that we now know today, is what came up. So when we say that yoga is for spirituality, right? So that doesn't mean that yoga is only for spirituality. But doing or with the practice of yoga, your physical and mental health will also be great. But that is a byproduct of yoga.
Yeah.
So what we actually are doing right now is focusing on the byproduct of it. So because I was having a health issue, right? So I started doing yoga for even I was mostly into as a kid. And so it was mostly doing that asana, this asana, like everything, playing around. And definitely a lot of pranayama, right? So, and certain kriyas. So those are all, those things were very, very nicely placed by my teacher. So even though I was not really taught yoga as such, but it was introduced to me in a very playful way. So I could just practice it without a problem. So later on, what happened was when we when we talk about all this spirituality and everything, yoga as a byproduct had these other benefits, physical and mental health benefits. So that is when we started digging more into, okay, can we use yoga as a tool to better our health? Okay, like if I go to a person and say that, okay, this is the purpose of your life, or you have to attain samadhi, this is yoga, all these philosophies, they're not interested. Most common man, right? So he or she is not interested in spirituality or interested in knowing the self, the reality, because if you get into that, you'll become mad initially. So for most people, that's not what is required. For them, like, I need to be happy, I need to stay healthy, right? So I need to conduct in a specific way. Right? So my body-wise, work-wise, mentally, everything. Can I do something for that with yoga? Was the question. Again, so it's not like me doing it, but it has happened decades ago.
And with great masters.
Yes, exactly. So that question came up. And that is when people started understanding yoga in a more scientific way. Okay, meditation is not just to know about who am I, but right. So, okay, that is the ultimate. In the meanwhile, you would be answering 100 different questions
in the normal samsara. You have to be healthy to go to work, to show up and be active in your social life and things. For that, you need that basic health.
Exactly.
And that's where yoga turned itself, or we are taking yoga for our benefits.
Exactly.
Okay.
So those taking it for the spiritual benefit are also still there. But a vast majority of it are doing it for its byproducts.
Unfortunately, it is stuck to the byproduct level, to the mass.
I would say, thankfully, at least it is stuck at the byproduct level.
True. Instead of just getting it killed and vanishing, it's there somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. When do I need, like I said, a B12 deficiency? I would end up going to an ortho. B12 deficiency would have caused a knee issue or a whatever
Vitamin D
problems.
deficiency. Yeah.
But for that, I would have, because I decide today which doctor to go and I check who's the thing, I would decide to go to a ortho. Or if it might be a headache, I keep popping Dolo left, right, center.
Yeah.
Because it gives me an instant relief. But after a year, is it really helping? We today don't know. But the dental physician concept itself is kind of very alien today.
True.
And even if we go to hospitals and other thing, it is like you meet counselors who are not medically trained. I'm not too sure about it, but that's my personal experience. They're medically trained.
Most cases, yes.
They are coordinators.
Yes. So there are two types. One, as you mentioned, like coordinators. The other one is like for people who are having like someone passed away or in a very very difficult situation. So they are like counseling psychologists,
Yes.
those kind of things. But to handhold a person to healthiness or to well-being is what we need. And unfortunately, a lot of MBBS doctors don't do it. Nothing wrong about them, right? So it's because, again, there is no money in that. That's a different thing altogether. But in an ideal integrated healthcare system, and so we would need that general physician. That person would be, taking them to every place. So go first to an allopathic, like a general physician. If necessary, go to an allopathic doctor. If that is done, once that is sorted, come back, analyze the root cause. If a food and nutrition specialist or a dietitian is required over there, and so go there. And so if someone who's a physiotherapist is required, go over there. Or if a psychologist is required, go over there. Or if you need a lifestyle change, right? So go to a person who specifically works on that. So this is what we need.
Yes.
And so it might look like, okay, you're running here and there everywhere.
And I'm already calculating the consulting fee for each of these doctors.
Exactly. So if we are looking at this from a very, like doing it on an individual basis or on a private basis, definitely would be very expensive. What is the ideal thing is that it happens, or this system is accommodated in the regular hospitals, like government hospitals. But again, government hospital is a very, very far-fetched thing. But at least if this happens in a private hospital,
large hospitals.
See, anyways, people are spending money. It's not that they are not spending money. People are spending money on healthcare. Most of them have insurance and everything. The price may go up a little, that is for sure. But what we are trying to do here is all this unorganized chaos that is there, we are trying to organize it. This organization of this chaos is extremely important, and in the longer run will save more rather than actually more expenses. In the beginning, it feels so, but in the long run, it will actually save more.
In your experience, has anyone come, I'm healthy, I want to continue a healthy life, like a integrative medicine or a health system where they want to continue a healthy lifestyle? Because the entry point for any person to visit a doctor is always a pain or a challenge or anything. But Ayurveda, yoga and meditation, this is not a cure. This is a lifestyle. But have you seen anyone, or have you personally taken that? You also, your entry point was your personal challenge.
Obviously, yes.
But is there anyone who has opted for the systems for a preventive lifestyle?
There are a few people, I would say, but
very rare.
Very less.
When it comes to the medicine preparation, basically it was supposed to be done one-on-one, personalized, freshly made. But today it is not the case, which is not possible. Making it completely from the factory, it's prepared equally like a modern medicine.
Modern medicine, definitely, yes.
Is it still going to be that effective?
Well, if you ask me, is it effective? I would say it is effective. If you ask me, is it the same amount of effectiveness
as freshly made, customized for the person?
Yeah, may not be.
Something
and also, and also the fact we need to understand here is that Ayurveda was more like a system of medicine. See, right now, every other person, Tom, Dick and Harry is talking about Ayurveda and becoming an Ayurveda expert. But we need to understand that just like how anyone and everyone cannot become an orthopedic surgeon.
Yes.
Anyone and everyone cannot become an Ayurvedic doctor.
Yeah.
That is something that we need to understand.
Mm.
So you being an enthusiast of Ayurveda, learning about it is different. And that too from internet sources. That is extremely different from actually knowing what it is, right? And practicing it for not just your own wellness or well-being, but to help a person solve their health issue or cure the other person. So that is a completely different thing. So when we say that Ayurveda is a system of medicine, just like how right now we say that okay, in case of modern medicine, if we say the same thing that okay, we need a customized solution, wouldn't really be possible.
Not at all.
So in the same way, in case of Ayurveda, it might be possible for a few people, but not for everyone. And so like if someone tells me, okay, get these herbs, where will we go? So that is why from a very, very long time, not now, from a very long time, there were certain preparations.
Okay.
So that was like, for example, as I mentioned earlier, Amritarishta. That is a preparation. So it is made out of these things, and it is applicable for so and so conditions when given in a certain way.
Okay.
So this standardization, a way of standardization is necessary if we want the well-being of the masses.
Which is mandatory.
Yeah.
And basic.
Yes. And going at a very personal level is also important, but unfortunately at a cure level or medicine level, it's really difficult. But that is where Ayurveda stands out, wherein you can actually go at a personal level in order to get to the root cause of the problem and help move away from those root causes. So like right now, Ayurvedic doctors to some extent are doing that, but that is more like lifestyle management. That is more of a lifestyle management, like not typically related to a doctor or medical thing, anything of that sort, but it's more like understanding the individual and telling them what is actually causing the problem and what has to be done in order to avoid it.
We also hear that the moment you wake up, you drink water. Don't even brush, drink half a liter or something, so that all those things go into your gut. And is this recommended by Ayurveda?
See, okay, if I have to talk about literature, well, literature doesn't talk about that.
Okay.
The literature doesn't talk about drinking water without brushing the teeth.
Oh, so Ayurveda says brush before you drink water.
Yes. So if we look at there are various texts that talk about dinacharya, but if we look at the most common one, the Ashtanga Hridaya, right? So the first thing is evacuating the bowel. Then once the bowel is evacuated, then comes brushing the teeth. Then abhyanga, then vyayama, snana, all these things.
Drinking water doesn't come till you take bath.
There is no, the thing is, a lot of people, I don't know where they are getting it from.
Empty stomach, drink water.
So like Ayurveda literature at least doesn't say anything of that.
Wow. Okay. So now that you also read a lot about the modern medicine and the modern trends and things, so what is your take on empty stomach, drink water, that too before brushing?
If you have a healthy gut, if you don't have, like any issues with like acidity, bowel problems, anything of that sort, you can do it. Shouldn't really be a problem.
I can drink without brushing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on the other hand, if you have any issues, don't do it.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of takes on this. And the reality is we don't have a clear scientific evidence as to what is right and what is not.
Okay.
So if you are a person who wants to drink water, right? So drink.
Okay.
And so it's not like if you drink, something bad will happen.
But it's not going to make you overnight Obama. Okay.
Definitely.
So what are the few trends that you see and you say, oh my God, shouldn't be there. Why are we doing it?
Well, quite a few. One though, as I already told you, different detoxes. Right, so very, very random things are there. Though it could be like enema, adrinda agirbodu, or it could be, like enema detox is one thing, and also like going on a complete juice detox, water detox, and whatnot, right? So and for no obvious reasons, right? So I
Weight
think
loss, big
yeah.
reason.
Like I've seen people who don't need weight loss also doing these things. So again,
Clean skin, clear skin, glowing skin.
yeah, probably again the whole, I find the whole detox thing itself is a very you know very weird thing, right? So because what toxin are you trying to put out, right? So not sure about that. So all these different detoxes is one thing, and definitely detox teas. And so you drink this tea for detoxification. There is, in reality, there is no such thing.
Okay.
Like, what will it detox?
Probably because of the junk that we end up eating, you are guilty and you're looking for tips and tricks to remove that burger out.
Probably, yeah. So it might just be that, that patch up that, okay, I've had all these things, now I'll have
I
green
had a
tea
nice cheesecake.
and-
Okay, and now I need to take that out.
Probably that could probably be the thing. But yeah, so detox is one thing.
Panchakarma treatment should be done only when it is prescribed by the doctor that you consult.
Yes.
And when are the times that you, as a doctor, would prescribe us Panchakarma?
Okay, if you ask me, only when there is a severe need, when an individual is having a problem, health issue, a very specific health issue,
okay,
that is when it would be helpful. Otherwise, definitely no.
So
and also,
I can't, like a OTC, I can't go back to a Panchakarma treatment center and tell the person, do Panchakarma for me.
So see, a lot of times massage, the Abhyanga and Sweda, that is referred to as Panchakarma. Or the Shirodhara is referred to as Panchakarma.
Which is not.
Which is not. Panchakarma is these 5 karmas. Vamana, Virechana, Basti, right? Then Nasya, then lastly Rakta Mokshana.
Okay.
So these are the 5 different types of treatment wherein it's called a Shodhana procedure. But it means that you are basically moving out the doshas out of your body. So another thing, I might be held this thing for it from the medical or
fraternity of Ayurveda,
from the Ayurveda fraternity, is that if a doctor tells you to go for the Panchakarma treatment for anything and everything, don't go to the doctor.
Okay.
Because this is again where the whole concept of integrated medicine and these things come in as well. Because as much as I understand and I respect the system of medicine of Ayurveda and everything, but we also need to understand that there are a lot of imperfections in Ayurveda as well, among which the Panchakarma treatment is one as well. And definitely not blaming the science. I'm just blaming the people who are prescribing it.
It's like astrology is always, the system is right. The astrologer who predicts is the one who's in trouble, is in the challenge.
So when I say this, it is the main concern is people don't, or at least till now, we don't have a very solid proof of evidence as to what, again, I'm talking about scientific evidence, as to what is exactly happening when we do this Vamana, Virechana, Basti and all these things. There are a few parameters that they've measured, but people say that, okay, you have problem A, you do this thing. How is that working? Is something that we don't know.
Oh, for years together we have been practicing Ayurveda and we still don't have any scientific evidence.
We don't have scientific evidence.
That's what. Why?
Because the research has not gone into it.
The whole world is talking about India being the capital of Ayurveda and Panchakarma. From across the world, people come here. Okay.
So this is a place where we are lacking. And again, the unfortunate thing, the sad part is that this is the case with most of the things, even with yoga.
What is the difference between being sad and depressed in a person? If you have to say, no, it's sadness, it's not depression.
Well, like I can explain it to you both scientifically and as well as in a different giving a spirituality context as well.
Okay.
One thing is when we say sad, and so that is usually due to a certain event
Okay. Okay.
or at a certain moment.
Mm.
So you're sad, you feel like everything is coming down, crashing down, everything.
For example, I lost a job or I'm looking for a job.
Exactly.
That is a period.
Exactly.
I would be desperate to get into a job or a promotion. So
True.
that is a
You feel like, okay, everything is gone down. Like, okay, let's say you're fired. And then you're like, okay, who is going to give me a job? Or you're applying, no one is giving you a job, everything. So this is a phase wherein you're anxious about your future. And there is a lot of question marks. A lot of things are uncertain. This time feeling low, that is one thing. But a constant state of feeling low, it's called anhedonia. And so it's like things are fine in your life, but still you're not happy. That's different.
That is what is a mental health issue.
Exactly.
So here, once you get a job or if you get a promotion or whatever you're looking for, that happens and you're in a normal path. So that is not a depression period.
In a way, like you are sad, you're depressed slightly, using it in a very casual sense. But depression as a clinical problem. And so is not the case. And a lot of people also struggle. For example, someone wants to leave a job. They are frustrated with the job. They want to leave the job. They can still be suffering even after leaving the job. Again, that basically is here.
Okay.
So here when we talk about clinical depression, it is a very, very dark state wherein even the existence is questioned every single moment.
Okay.
So it's not, and also what happens is it's not just happening in their mind, it's not just their thought process. So the way the brain functions itself is completely changed. So there is a rewiring that happens.
Okay.
So that's why there is something called as clinical depression. And so it is clinically diagnosed that this person is having a problem. So when we talk about these things like clinical depression and other like PTSDs and so on, this is actually also another very important aspect that most people forget.
Okay.
When we say like health, we mostly think about physical health, but we're not taking into consideration the mental health aspect as well. It can be very simple, right? So it doesn't need to be, some big problem as such. It could be very simple things.
You combine your yoga personal experience of healing through yoga has helped in your Ayurveda practices.
Well, I wouldn't say Ayurveda practice, but I would say in general medical practice.
Okay.
Because one thing that I've learned or I've come to understand is that if there is only one system of medicine, then the population can't be healthy.
Okay.
Because every system of medicine has its pros and cons.
Okay.
It is basically like you have like two people. Like just imagine that you are deaf and I'm blind, right? So, and I give you this water bottle. You are deaf, right? So, but you can see.
Yeah.
You see the water bottle, right? And then you are like, okay, this is in this shape and everything, right? So it's fine. But you can't tell that, right? Like I am blind now. Now what I can do is, okay, I can grab hold of that water bottle.
Touch feel.
Like so touch feel, okay, it's, it's hard. And then, okay, it's elongated, right? So, and there is something inside it. There are other things that I can
Your perception, yes. Yeah.
But I can't say what color it is or what is inside it. Right? So, or who placed it here, right? So, and in your case, even if you know, you can't say it.
Yeah.
Right? Or for example, let us assume that you don't have the sense of touch. You can't know the texture of it.
Yes.
So every single science has its pros and cons because of the approach. And what I've come to understand is that if we talking about not just a specific set of practices like allopathy, Ayurveda, homeopathy or anything, thinking about the well-being of the entire population. Let's assume, okay, here in this case, the country. It is important for us to take the best out of everything.
You're talking about integrative medicine.
Exactly. So that's why I said not the practice of Ayurveda, because I was not just practicing Ayurveda.
Oh, okay.
Right? So there are a lot of times wherein I've told people who come to me, and I've told them, see, this is your case, this is the condition. Right now, for the time being, right? So I could start you with certain Ayurvedic medicines, I could start you with yoga therapy and everything. But what is most important for you, what is most required for you is allopathic medication.
Which gives me instant relief.
Which gives you the ability to start working on yourself. For example, I'll tell you in Ayurveda that, okay, you have, let's say, IBS.
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you a patya, like I'll give you a diet. Okay, this is what you have to have. I've seen people who have IBS who are in bed for 4 or 5 days. Extreme worst case scenarios. What patya can that person follow? Like, and there are people who are in extreme pain. What patya can, most commonly, I deal with a lot of people who have problems like sciatica, disc bulge, herniation, so on. They have like severe back pain and everything, which is radiating. If the pain is so severe, you can't sit, you can't stand, you can't move, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
What do you think is the ideal option?
If I was anyone, I would need a quick instant relief, and then, okay, after the pain reduces or after whatever my need is right now, after I get a relief, then I'll be open to hear to what you say.
Exactly the point. So there are times wherein allopathic medication is the need, and it is mandatory. What it does, I'm not saying that it will solve the problem. Right? So in most cases, because when we say cure, the word, if you look at the meaning of the word cure, cure is basically absence of symptoms.
Okay.
Which through the science advancements and technology advancement and everything, we are in a state right now wherein we can actually manufacture something which works at a molecular level and mask that pain or mask those symptoms. Right? So that is basically what we are trying to do with modern medicine. Right? So I'm not saying that that's bad. It is definitely important. But what is lacking is the awareness, definitely in the people and also to some extent in certain doctors, that we are just still masking the problem. You're not solving it. And so if you come to me saying that I have gastritis, you have severe acidity, reflux and everything, the first thing that I'll do is give you an allopathic medicine.
Okay.
The next thing that I'll tell you is, tell me why this happened. When we talk about spirituality and when we talk about philosophy, pain and suffering is a part of it.
You have to go beyond it.
How do you go beyond it?
Transcend the pain and suffering and still be still.
So again, it's like all various different tools and techniques in order to, do it. It's there is no only this way is right. There are different ways, 100 different ways.
That is the way, still a Sukhasana and meditation is still okay. Why do I have to raise my hand and stand for 12 years or even a Vrikshasana, which is not very comfortable? Why do I have to take that posture? Why is it yoga recommending the other advanced postures?
Well, as I told you, yoga is not recommending any advanced postures.
Okay.
Because as I told you, if we talk about Patanjali Yoga Sutras or any of the actual scripts, the initial ones, right? So it is talking about mind. Your physical body is a tool to get things started.
Okay.
For example, I'll make it more clearer. When we talk about yoga, we have 8 limbs of yoga, right? So Ashtanga yoga, right? So not the Ashtanga yoga that we know right now.
Okay.
Ashta means 8. Anga means limbs. So there are 8 different parts of yoga.
Mm.
The first one is yama
Okay.
and then niyama. So yama and niyama is more like moral conduct and ethics, principles, these kind of things. Basically what we are taught as kids.
Okay.
You should not steal. You should not lie. Right? So things like that. Basic stuff. Then the third layer,
Mm.
the third limb is yama, niyama, asana.
Okay.
So asana for what?
Mm.
Asana for your physical well-being.
Mm.
Right? So when I say well-being, I'm not saying your optimal health. I'm talking about if you, for example, if you have to meditate,
Mm.
how will you meditate? You have to sit.
Yes.
Right? So right now we have chairs.
Mm.
Before, either you have to sit on a rock or something.
Right.
Right? So you need to lean. So just imagine you have to meditate, you have to focus on something.
Mm.
So like very extreme focus.
Mm.
But you are like this.
Mm. You don't have a posture right, or you're slouching. You don't have the energy to even sit.
Exactly.
Mm.
Right? And what happens is naturally when you slouch, when your posture is like this, you tend to divert and you tend to sleep.
Yeah, if there is one pain in your body, your focus is not on your mind. Your focus is completely on the pain.
Exactly.
So to keep the pain away is where the asana comes in. To
So-
keep your basic health.
So first, in order to get into, the samadhi and all these things are next.
Huh.
First, you need to learn to sit properly.
Mm.
Forget about everything. Just learn to sit properly.
Mm.
Asanas.
Mm.
Then, after sitting properly, then we think about the mind. No, mind is not the next thing.
Mm.
How can you control the mind?
Mm.
Indirectly. That is through breath.
Okay.
That is where pranayama comes in. Yama, niyama, asana, then pranayama. Now, okay, you are indirectly controlling your mental energies as well as your physical energy. Now, let us go a little more deeper. Actually talk about the mind and mental stuff itself.
Mm.
Right? So that is when after pranayama, we have pratyahara and dharana.
Mm.
Pratyahara and dharana is like getting or taking control of your senses and your mind completely.
Mm.
If you are someone, right, so who, like for example, if I see a fruit over there, if I see something over there, I just go and grab. Right? So
Today it's more about burger and pizzas.
Yeah. So anything. Right now it's burger, pizzas and
Nobody
so on.
gets excited about the fruit.
Unfortunately, that's the case.
Apart from consulting, yoga therapy, I know that you're a filmmaker. Can you explain us a little about that?
Oh, well, that's that's the other side of the coin,
Uh-huh.
I would say. Well, yes, I mostly love watching documentary films. So I really want to get into documentary filmmaking in full-fledged. Right now, I'm just playing around simple things.
What are the
Not
topics
much.
that you take for documentaries?
It could be anything. Right? So one documentary actually is about Ayurveda itself.
Okay.
Right? So the other thing is about like the stray dogs.
Mm.
Right? So the other one is about the man-animal conflict.
Mm.
So there are quite a few of them actually. So the whole thing about filmmaking or getting into cinematography itself happened because I loved photos.
Mm-hmm.
And so like because my father, right, so used to have the reel camera and he used to take photos.
Mm.
And I loved how you could capture the moment,
Mm.
right? So that is something that I really loved. But I did not really lean into people as such, because as I was more of a reserved, introverted person. So I started documenting. So more like landscapes, wildlife.
Mm.
So this was something that I got into first,
Mhm.
mostly.
Mm.
So I started with photography, but then eventually loved how motion pictures, basically videos, could tell a very impactful story. And so because I've always been someone who did not speak much, and so but like if I can do it through a picture, that would be great. But if I can do it even more effectively with like a video, that was also something that that fascinated me.
Mhm.
So I slowly started playing around with like video, how to take it, how to do it and everything. so storytelling, so on so forth. So that basically like sucked me in. So that is when I got into like cinematography as a proper profession full time.
Okay.
So right now, as I like, that's why when you asked, okay, how do you want to identify and what your day looks like, it's really hard. So some days, like I'm here talking to you, like as a doctor, or from that perspective or from that experience of my life. And on other days, I would be on the behind the camera shooting the podcast. So so it's very different.
One life. You have to explore everything.
Exactly. So apart from that, I love like multiple other things like food, and I love sports, athletics,
And you said
everything.
food, do you cook?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I don't find time to cook very often. So yeah, again, apart from that, apart from filmmaking, I also love cooking, and so delving into food. ಅದಲ್ದೇನೆ I love sports. So I'm extremely ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ sports ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡೋದು ಒಂದು, I would like to play as well. I would like to be involved in that. So that is one thing.
There's a last question that popped up in my question. Compare yoga therapy and physiotherapy.
Well, two different things, I would say, because this is something that we did not talk about a little, because this is again something that I'm actually still working on.
Okay.
And it's more like experimenting in beta
Okay.
stage. But what I'm trying to explore on is that one, physiotherapy is really very good, and there are like a lot of poses, lot of practices that are very similar to yoga. For example, Setu Bandhasana is recommended in back pain for even in physiotherapy. Bhujangasana, the cobra pose, same. So there are similarities, but they go one step further because they understand they isolate the muscles and work on specific muscles. So they go a step further. Right? So that is one thing. But in general, if we are talking about compound movements, yes, both are I don't say similar, based on the same lines. But physiotherapy takes it further. Like it's more accurate, I would say, and more isolated in how it works.
However, physiotherapy is more towards a cure. But yoga therapy could be for general wellness also.
Again, that is regular practice of yoga. When we say therapy, that means that we are trying to solve something.
Okay, so both yoga therapy and physiotherapy is with an objective.
True.
But when you take yoga for wellness, then that's an everyday practice.
True. See, and the difference with yoga and physiotherapy is that, for example, you come with IBS. You go to a physiotherapist with IBS. They wouldn't tell you anything else. Whereas when it comes to yoga, right, so there are specific practices that we work on.
Okay.
Right, so when it comes to the problem of IBS or any other issue, respiratory health issues, right, so there is pranayama, there is certain other kriyas and a few asanas. So yoga therapy has its own set of strengths. Physiotherapy has its own set of strengths.
And you're trying to bring a union of that too.
Definitely, like basically bringing in the practices of yoga into physiotherapy as well, and which is the eventual goal. But right now is taking the principles of certain physiotherapy practices into yoga as well. So how we could work with that. So that is one thing. But another thing that I'm working on is yoga therapy with regards to mental health.
Okay.
And when I say mental health, dealing with clinical issues as we mentioned earlier is one side of things. But right now, what I feel is more than people having clinical problems like major issues, there are other smaller problems which would actually dictate how an individual would function.
For example,
habit forming could be one thing, right? So, or see, like every single one of us are different. We have our set of strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
So what happens is certain times when the weakness is overpower. So for example, a few people are there who are very, what I would say, fearful by nature. And there are few people who are extremely,
shy.
Yeah, shy is one thing. on the opposite side of things, people who are very rude or take like extreme, I would say aggressive.
Mhm.
So all these things,
Okay.
these are not health issues, mental health issues as such,
Mhm.
but these are certain things which basically keep us or pull us from being that ideal person,
Being the full potential.
being the full potential. Maybe because of these things we are losing out on certain things, or maybe it is taking a hit on something or the other. So there are a lot of these, I would say, I can rephrase this or rename this as CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy,
Mhm.
combining it with yoga.
Okay. Okay.
So this is something that I'm still working on right now. And so with asanas, with pranayama, primarily with asanas and other things. To give you just a very quick example, see when we say a specific asana, like for example Virabhadrasana, right? So there is a meaning to it, right? And when we do something, knowing the meaning of it, and with a specific intent, the way we think would be very different. Right? So we all know dance as a therapy.
Yes.
Right? So movement as therapy. So similarly, implementing the same into yoga.
Okay.
Because when you're talking about, let's say, vrikshasana, you're talking about the qualities of vriksha.
Yes.
Which is your grounded, stability. Right? And when you're talking about Virabhadrasana, you're talking about Virabhadra, the fierce nature. Right? So you being not fearful to someone or something. And so, and then when we are talking about certain very relaxing things, right? So we need to just
Sukhasana, then you feel it. Then everything changes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
it is just not about the movement, it is also about the intent with the meaning.
With the meaning.
And you send that intent through every cell through that posture. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So this is something that I'm exploring and working on
Okay.
right now.
Interesting. It's been a wonderful conversation. Any parting words?
Well, the only thing that I would say is, again, the purpose, as I already mentioned, is union, yoga, bringing in things. So being a doctor, being a yoga teacher, and also being a storyteller and a cinematographer
and a fitness enthusiast.
Yeah. So the only one thing that I would want to share with the world is that be curious and try to understand that there is no black or white. And so that is the important thing, because with the moment we understand that there is no black or white, that most of the things are in the grays. Right? So that is when we can actually have a beautiful and meaningful life. Right? So that is basically what I'm trying to do. Again, at least with respect to health. Right? So and I think that would exist even otherwise as well in all other aspects of life.
True. Wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. And I'm sure to meet again with your new explorations.
Definitely. Thanks a lot for having me here. It's been a wonderful time having a conversation with you. And so I think it had been a very long time that I actually spoke to someone for this long. So
humble.
Really, thanks a lot for having me here.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you.